Hi there, saxophone family. This is James Barger with some practice tips for the first TMEA All-State Etude. The etudes this year have been selected from the Farrelling 48 Famous Studies, and the first etude is number 6 in G major. The most important thing for you to address as a saxophonist is your tone. One way that I like to incorporate this etude into my tone warm-up is to make every note into a long tone. In this way, we are killing two birds with one stone, giving our embouchure a good workout and addressing our tone, as well as getting the sound of the etude in our ears. Like a great teacher of mine would say, you can only play as fast as you can hear. Now is the time to work on hearing all of the intervals. Additionally, we can take out all of the articulations and play through the etude slowly, working on connecting each note with our airstream. This is a great way to address some of the tricky intervals within this etude. This etude is in the saxophone key of G major, with the middle section being in the relative key of E minor. You need to be very comfortable with your scales in these two keys. If these keys are unfamiliar to you, begin with a 1-octave version of the scale, and then expand to cover the full range of the saxophone. Be sure to practice playing these scales in a 3/8 time signature, like the one found in this etude. In addition to the scales, there are a large number of arpeggios found within this etude. Mastering these before digging into the music will be to your advantage. You can download a copy of this technique handout in the description below.
The tempo marking of this etude is allegretto scherzo. Allegretto means a little fast, while scherzo means lighthearted, playful, or jokingly. When I was in the 7th grade and first working out of the Fairling book, my private lesson teacher wrote the word joke next to this etude. To match the style of this etude, it is important that we keep the articulation very light and bouncy. I like to think of the analogy of skipping stones across a still pond. Here, we need to allow our tongue to bounce along a well-supported airstream. When you are first learning this etude, you should begin by feeling it in 3 to ensure that your 16th notes are incredibly even. As you speed up, however, begin feeling the etude in 1 with the dotted quarter note getting the beat. Once you are at a tempo that you can feel this in 1, think of a light accent on the downbeat of each measure, which will create a lilting quality similar to that of a waltz. Be careful not to overdo this. Keep it subtle. Keep it subtle. Keep it subtle. I like to apply the various articulations from the etude to the scales in my technique practice. You can download your own copy of the articulation handout in the description below. There are no dynamic markings in this etude other than the forte at the beginning. I personally feel that it is acceptable to add some of your own dynamic markings in a tasteful way, but keep in mind that this is not a competition of who can best reinvent the Fairling etudes. Any dynamics that you add should be done so subtly,
so that they do not distract from the music. Keep it subtle. Keep it subtle.
Keep it subtle.
Overdoing crescendos and decrescendos result in a C6 sounding performance. I've included some suggested dynamic markings in the annotated copy of the etude in the description below. Experiment with these and choose any that you like to include in your performance. In the annotated copy, I have included all of the suggested fingerings that I use when playing this etude. Some of the fingering shorthands in the annotated copy include T+3, which is a great alternate fingering for your middle C sharp. So for that fingering, you're going to put down the third finger of the left hand in addition to the thumb. So thumb and 3, T+3. This is a great fingering which helps to correct the pitch, especially of that middle C sharp, as well as to correct the tone a little bit. I also include the letter S for side. This pertains to side A sharp as well as side C. In measure 38, I do use bis for the high A sharp at the end of that measure. This is kind of a tricky passage. Because we're coming from middle D going up to that A sharp, it's very difficult to use side A sharp, which we might be tempted to do. It's also very difficult because we have the A sharp and B natural in the following measure in very quick succession. So we want to practice that motion in order to get off the bis key quickly. Lastly, I use an uppercase L for the long C sharp. This is another alternate fingering for that middle or third space C sharp, and it's fingered with octave key, third finger on the left hand, so same fingering as earlier, the thumb and 3. In addition, we're going to add 4, 5, and 6 in the right hand. This is a great fingering when you have to move quickly from middle D to C sharp and back to D, just like we do in that measure with the trill and grace notes. The C sharp here is a little bit on the flat side, but because we're moving so quickly through that, it's hardly noticeable. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more tutorial videos in the future. Happy practicing.
Keep it subtle.